And welcome back to the Norwegian Woods. Once again, I'm your host, Ulf Alchemist Gray from whitewolfalchemy.com. In this video, I want to talk about spiritual accountability in sacred union, what that means, and why it's necessary, and how to go about that, what might be the challenges, and what has been the challenges in my experience, in our experience. And but as always, you know how I like to tune into that higher self stream of consciousness to transmit this information, for you to receive this information. And tune in with the body. Take a deep breath in through the nose. All the way to the top. And slowly. One for body. Through the nose. All the way to the top. And one for spirit in through the nose. Nice and easy with a little bit of sound. Yeah. Spiritual accountability in sacred union is necessary for us to step into union, into the truth of who we are. For that to happen, we can no longer be afraid of losing one another. Because if we're afraid to lose the other, we will omit certain things. We will refrain from speaking our truths in fear of rejection, fear of loss of love. So you have to step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. Let go of the fear of loss of love, fear of rejection. And to trust in love, trust in your union, trust in your partner. Trust that whatever it is that you reveal, whatever it is that you share, can be held in the truth of love, in the light of your love, in the light of your union. But if, let's say, your partner is to reveal something that is absolutely horrific or hurtful or is ill received by you, like let's say something that's a 3 or a 4 becomes a 10, they're going to be afraid to open up and share that with you. So we have to work on our triggers. We have to work on how we receive. So we have to work on how we share and how we deliver and we have to work on how we receive. So our delivery and our reception are very, very, very important when it comes to intimate communication. You know, and in these sacred unions, with our level of luggage, with our level of baggage and trauma and heavy past, and um, we incarnated into the most inflicted families and bloodlines on the planet. That's not to, so we all who share this templating have severe trauma. We all have um, absolutely horrible stories to tell. So when these stories are not, well received amongst ourselves, it makes it hard to create a sacred union. It makes it damn near impossible to facilitate um, the truth of who you are together. Sometimes when that's not possible to communicate and sharing communication together, I often recommend therapy or a mediator. Um, Sometimes I can work as a mediator because that's what was needed for us. That's the only way it would have worked for us as well. Um, for me to be truthful and open and share. I went to therapy to work on um, grief that became anger, and in that I had to be completely transparent and authentic with my therapist in order to get the results I wanted with my union, with my marriage, with my family unit. Um, Without complete honesty, complete transparency, and authenticity with your therapist, um, they will not be able to facilitate what it is that you're paying them for, what it is that you're going there for. So that's something that I strongly encourage. Mm. But I went there for grief counseling therapy for a recent trauma a few years ago, and it had such an effect on me going to Gestalt therapy that I decided to study Gestalt myself, first and foremost coaching, and then I will apply for Gestalt therapy studies after my graduation. So that's that's so valuable to have that space, to have that place where you can unleash and unravel, and um, let out something, take off something, and leave it in a therapeutic space. Um, it's it's amazing. It was absolutely amazing for me. So amazing that I chose to study it. So um, it's made me a better father, a better partner, a better brother, a better son, a better friend. Without a shadow of a doubt, a better human, better therapist, better coach, healer. And there as well, all of that is for you to be able to be authentic. So if you're incapable of being authentic with your partner, that's not going to become a good partnership. There's no way that can become a good partnership. You are absolutely fooling yourself. It's futility. It's a futile effort. Any effort you make, if you are not authentic, transparent, honest in your communication. And it has to be created mutual safe space for you both to be authentic and honest and transparent with one another. There has to be room and space made for all parts of you together. There's no way to, there's no path to sacred union that does not include honest communication, transparency, authenticity. Um, there's no way you'll get there. Um, the wheels will come off the 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 wagon, the carriage. The wheels will come off eventually. There's no way you can keep that up for much amount of time. Um, and hurting yourself and everyone you love in the process. You can't manipulate your way to a sacred union. No way, no how. So you have to kind of both agree to the guidelines, the rules, the law of the land, and abide by that uh, in order to facilitate your sacred union. Um, so in that, you have your connection, you have your strong connection, you have mental connection, emotional connection, you have physical connection, sexual connection, astral connection. Um, I love the telepathy and the intuitive faculty amongst us in our sacred union. And I know for a fact that that's part of our template. All of us, that's something that we can experience and makes this very, very unique and special. Um, More so than telepathy and astral and all that. That you can be merged in the mental body is phenomenal. It makes the communication, it makes the connecting, it makes the sex absolutely, you know, extraordinary, unlike anything I've ever experienced. Um, so all these other um, stepping stones to sacred union, they're worth it. They're absolutely worth it. To get to that place of connecting in that way, oh, tell me what is necessary, tell me what is needed. What do I got to do? And then do it. Because the rewards are, yeah, they're worth it. They're worth it. All this grueling soul work, all this alchemy, this process, um, yeah, it's worth it. So Spiritual accountability, mind, body, and spirit. Okay, this is my pattern. Okay, that's your pattern. I can't hold you accountable, but I can be accountable for what's mine and encourage accountability in that way. It's so much easier for someone to hold themselves accountable when they're offered accountability. And I say offered accountability, not held accountable. You see the difference there in the energy? Offered accountability to held accountable, So that in itself should give you a little bit of a pointer for how the energy makes everything different. So you kind of lead the way by, holding yourself accountable, by being accountable. This is my pattern. This is my stuff. This is what I'm working on. Um, I can't do this on my own. All right, so I'm going to seek help. Maybe I'll go talk to Olaf in his sessions. Maybe it's better with a therapist. Maybe it's better with one-on-one in person. You know, maybe I need a mediator because our communication is not to that place where we can communicate without these powder kegs that we're sitting on going off and TNT and all over the place. Been there, done that. You know, it's common. So if you're in need of a mediator, then do that. Just make sure that you get to a place where you can communicate, where you can um, unleash the demons, unravel the past, and unpack the luggage in a way that is safe and healing, because it needs to be safe and healing. Anything else, and you will just re-traumatize yourself and one another. Yeah, spiritual accountability in sacred union goes beyond just these patterns and programs and the templates, habits and addictions and all that. It all needs to be in order. Like my physicality, since we had kids, has been suffering a little bit due to my inability to structure and demand the time necessary for me to work out in the way that I did before kids. All right. So that's kind of created a little imbalance that we have been working on as a result of my inability to facilitate that. When that kind of begins to come into balance again, then the spiritual side of things and the mental side of things show improvement and effect from the physical aspect of accountability: mind, body, and spirit. All those three is my holy trinity within this sacred union of I am, right? So within this sacred union of I am, my mind, body, and spirit are in sacred union before I can facilitate a sacred union with. But since we've already been in sacred union for so long, we have kids now, we're in our unified field. They will be until they're, 7, then they'll form their own unified field that is, strong enough to not be linked and attached to mom and dad. Because I am around so much, they're equally linked to me, which has been a blessing and unique, powerful, overwhelming, but beautiful. Um, but I can see how my accountability of mind, body, and spirit affects them or the lack thereof. I can see how my energetic integrity is needed and demanded for their energetic integrity, my wife and my kids. So we have in our sacred union now is our entire family unit held within that shared unified field. Learning so much from that. It's a tremendous responsibility and steep learning curve, but nonetheless, uh, blessed beyond belief. Taking that, willingly taking one for the team whenever necessary, then a growth spurt. Um, but yeah, spiritual accountability and sacred union is a real thing. It is something that I spoke of, you know, for the last decade, something that I worked hard for on my own. And I got to that level of energetic integrity and accountability, um, mind, body, and spirit. But when you're going to do it too, it's a whole different ballgame. And when you got kids in that same shared unified field, it's a completely different multiplied ballgame. It's like dodgeball with with cannonballs. You better not get hit. And when you do, you're gonna be wonky as hell for a few weeks or months, maybe a couple of years, all depending on the size of that cannonball. But you're accountable for it nonetheless. You took a hit. All right, now you got to do this or you got to do that. You got to remedy. You got to man up. You got to facilitate. You got to learn how to juggle whatever it is that you need to juggle in order for the entire family unit to remain balanced. So you're in a sacred union with maybe your wife and your kids. Whatever you let enter into that sacred union will affect the entirety of your family unit, be it alcohol, drugs, porn. You don't want none of that anymore. You cannot afford any of that anymore. Do you want a sacred union or not? They don't call it sacred union for nothing, you know? So, but that's not a sacrifice that's hard to make. The sacrifices that are hard to make is things like alone time. It's a foreign word for most of us, you know. Things like, um, wow, a day at the spa, maybe, like give me, give me some mending, give me some healing, because sacred union is hard work. Spiritual accountability, mind, body, and spirit is hard work. It's hard work when you're one, but the level of work when you're two, let alone a family, yeah, good luck. I wish you good speed and good luck, sir or ma'am. So it begins by owning up owning all of who you are, you know, choosing what matters, what's worth it, what's worthwhile, and showing up and being accountable. This is my shit, and you got to work on it. If you can't do it on your own, find somebody to help you. You know, learn to swim. And it's now or never. Don't let it, you know, don't let it slide for too long, because it won't. It'll blow up in your face. The wheels will come off, and you're going to have a hell of a time pioneering. You know, we are pioneers at the front line of human consciousness, at the very, very front line of love and relationships as we know it. Beyond. And the savages out here, whew. Hey. Yeah. Own up. Own it all. You got some work to do with your mental body, get to work. You got some work on your physical body, get to work. You got some work with your spirit and your energy, get to work. See how that affects both of you in your union. If you have kids, see how it affects all of you. And whew. So this is me getting to work and being a little bit spiritually accountable, because this fuels my spirit, and it's part of my work and my reason for being here. And I love it. And I've lost every belief system known to man that I've ever stolen along the way in my 4 to 6 year long life, except for two things. The notion that I am a graduate soul in training for sacred union, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm experiencing it still. The notion that I am Toltec warrior in a place where spirits get eaten, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, I have come to find myself in those territories again and again. And sometimes they merge in harmonious union, and all that information that I've gotten from my mentors and teachers are still very much useful in the promised land that I'm pioneering with my beloved. So remember what you're here for. Remember what's at stake, and do what it is that is necessary to stake your claim and keep your claim. And yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's still worth it. Blood, sweat, and tears. Talk to you all soon. And take good care of yourself. You're in a place where spirits get eaten. I'll remind you of that. Take good care.